we're going to go bad.
It gets badder than this.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Rich Words Music. I'm at 42 Gear Street 7, and I've been joined by something of an industry legend.
Yeah, whatever.
It's Jim from DigiTech.
Jim Pennock from DigiTech. I've been with the brand since the mid-1980s, so been involved in the engineering of many, many pedals over the years, and this is our relaunch of DigiTech. So DigiTech, if anybody's noticed, didn't do anything for about 5 years. There was no new products from DOD or DigiTech. So the brand was sold to Cortec. That's the company that makes Cort guitars.
Yep.
Everybody knows Cort guitars. And they picked up DigiTech and DOD and got a hold of me, and we're putting the band back together. So we're still based out of Salt Lake City, Utah, like we always have. Many of the people on the team are original guys for like me and Roger Johnson and John Bogdan and all the guys that have done industrial designs, electrical designs, DSP designs, chips, all of that kind of stuff over the years, coupled with hiring a bunch of new engineers. So we're getting enough of the old blood that you got the DNA of the original intent of where pedals came from, but a bunch of new blood to take it for the next 50 years.
Yeah, and you're a true original from DigiTech, right? 40 plus years you've had overall.
DigiTech had launched as a brand 6 months before I started. So it's essentially as long as DigiTech's been around.
And what have been some of the key products that you've worked on in that time? What are maybe the 2 or 3 that you're the most proud of personally?
Sum up your history in a couple of sentences.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of stuff. The nice thing is when I started, it's a dream job. I came out of school learning about all the audio DSP. John Stockham, who was like one of the originators of the whole sampling theory and the Audio Engineering Society, was one of the professors at the school I went to. So there's a bit of a audio blend at the University of Utah. And the timing was right that nothing had been done digital yet. It's like just, the very, very high-end digital stuff was coming out, but this is a good couple of years before CDs came out. So digital audio was all of a sudden about to get inexpensive, but things weren't designed yet, so it's like, okay, Jim, can you give us a chorus? And like, let me think about it. How would I do that? And there's, now you go to the internet, tell you all this stuff, you can learn all that. Back then it was figuring things out. You're going to do a reverb. It's like, oh, how would I do that? And you kind of create algorithms. And me and Rob Urey were the early version of DigiTech trying to figure out how all this came about. You're asking about some of my favorite things. The first one, and this might stir a little bit of controversy out there, who invented multi-effects? Okay, the industry originally, so you got to go back in the day where all the serious gear was the rack gear. Everybody had a big rack full of stuff. So you had your rack delay and you had your rack EQ and your preamp and reverbs were big rack units. And that transition was going digital. So all of those things were going from kind of analog versions of them to the digital versions of them. And one of the early racks in there was the SPX90, Yamaha's SPX90, labeled by the magazines as multi-effects, because I have one rack, and guess what? It can be a delay when I need it to be. It can be a reverb when I need it to be. That's multi-effects. So I was doing our equivalent of that, which was the DSP 128, and it seems obvious now. But Yamaha, in doing multi-effects, was only one at a time, because all racks only did one thing at a time. I was in the middle of coding this, and I had coded up a reverb and a chorus, and our whole user interface was set up to be one thing at a time. We were going to compete with the SPX90. And John Johnson, president of the company, drops by and I go, John, listen to this. I think I can do a reverb and a chorus together. He goes, let me hear. And it sounded good. And he says, well, can you do a delay too? And it's like, yeah, I think I can. I think that we can fit. So all of a sudden, and it seems obvious now, because once it's digital, it's just code. And if you have code that doesn't take up all of the processing power you have, you can do multiple things at a time. It wasn't obvious then. DSP-128 was the first multi-FX. And our tagline when we launched it, and launching back then, was a magazine ad. It was 3 at a time for $3.99. And that launch doubled the size of the company.
Really?
We had to go 24 hours a day doing production on the DSP-128 because all of a sudden value was like $400 was about what a delay cost, and $400 was about what a reverb cost, and $400, you know. So all of a sudden, for that $400, you could get 3 at a time. So we sold 1 million of them, put us on the map, and that was my first. I finished a project when I first started that one of the other engineers had started, but that was my first start to finish thing, fresh out of college. It feels like you can take on the world, you know, just as a young kid doing that. It was fun. We go to the NAMM show, the product's a hit, doubling the size of the company, felt really good, and it was fertile ground. And all of a sudden it became a numbers game, multi-effects. Didn't take Yamaha long to follow it up, and well, okay, now we're multi-effects. So we multi-effects meant a variety of effects, and you can pick one. And then it's like, no, multi-effects means multi-effects at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's the DSP-128.
You mentioned you were fresh out of college when
Yeah.
you started working on that.
Yeah.
Had you always wanted to go into something like this?
I've been a music junkie since the day I was born. You know, I had and still have hundreds of records and see live music, and I still see live music. Talk to anybody who knows me. I'm always seeing some band or going out of town to see some rare something, all of that. I've always been into music. When I went into engineering, engineering's hard. It just about kills you. Like either you get through or you die, you know. And so I had to let all my music stuff go. In high school, I was in bands and wrote songs and all kinds of stuff like that. And I kind of had to let it go. And I thought, okay, I got to have a career. Okay, I got to be, you know, a good citizen of society and get myself a career. This is mid-'80s. I thought for sure when I got out I'd be working for Boeing or, you know, some aerospace company, which would have been a fun thing. I kind of didn't put the two pieces together of my love for music could also be something that my electrical engineer, which now it seems obvious, but then it really wasn't. And DOD was based out of Salt Lake City. And I actually knew somebody who worked there. They worked on the production line. And when I got out, and you know, so you don't have as many musicians that are also electrical engineers. There's plenty, but they're fewer and farther between. So in the career center, where all the companies go to hire the fresh grads, they list off all the different companies you can see, IBM and whatever, blah, blah, blah. And they said DOD. I knew exactly. It's like, that's my job. There it is. I didn't, and everybody around me goes, Department of Defense. They didn't get it. I knew exactly. Back in high school, I had a girlfriend, bought me my very first pedal for my birthday. A DOD 250, the yellow, when it first turned to be the yellow 250. So I was on that side of this the whole time, yeah. And I thought I'd let it go. But then I married the two together between, you know, my love for music and my fresh knowledge of digital audio stuff, thanks to Tom Stockham and some of the other professors. And when I hired on Rob Urey, who went on to become the president of DOD Digitech for quite some time. And the two of us, like, we made it up as we went along. You know, you kind of try all this and you go to a NAMM show, and we had first after first after first of different types of effects, different types of ideas, you know. So, you know, and that's early days, DSP 128, multi-effects. You get to the middle, one of my favorites, and I would debate people online of why it's one of my favorites, is the iStomp. We actually did a pedal that you could, using an iPhone, you could download other pedals into it. So you could buy one pedal, and it could be one of, you know, 80 different types of pedals that you could load in it. Mm-hmm. And that's more common now, but it was like the very first one to do that, where you could buy a new pedal off the iPhone store and it cost you $2.
Where did you get the idea for that? Because now it seems obvious, of
it's
course,
obvious,
but
yeah.
Someone had to come up with it first.
Yeah, it was Rob and I, and we're, you know, Roger Johnson, he's part of my current team right now, and he was part of that mix of things. And one of the things from the outside world, you look at these products, they all look different, but the digital ones, a lot of the heart of it is very similar,
yeah.
Right? They're using the same chips and all of that, and so it was kind of obvious that was there, but it was all of a sudden kind of an aha moment, like, oh, this would be cool. So we put out an app called Stomp Shop and all of this, and I'm very proud of that. And it's a double-edged sword. The cool thing about it, and I'm going to tell the story of it, and later why we had to back off of it. The story is the Apple Store, worldwide Apple stores. Well, they're not music stores, right? They're not, and it's like, guess what? They could be a music store by carrying one pedal. Mm-hmm. So to the regular stores, you know, they have a bunch of pedals. All of a sudden, so Rob Urey and I flew down to Cupertino and made our pitch and got the iStomp in every Apple store, which is like which is a transition from the MI stuff to true consumer. Mm-hmm. And huge, you know, initial order, huge. Flip side is welcome to true consumer. When we launched it, we didn't know. Apple doesn't tell you these things. They changed from the big wide connector to the tiny connector. Nowadays, Bluetooth is good enough. You could have done the whole thing wireless. Back then, the bandwidth wasn't there. The standards weren't there. So we had a physical cable that you connected between your phone to download things. And the way Apple works and the way consumer electronics works is, okay, it's a new month, we're doing this. Anything that's not in there is coming out, and you had to scramble, and it is dang hard to scramble. Anybody who's a competitor of ours who is building pedals know that you can't turn on a dime, and you don't have enough budget to be true consumer. So they shipped a bunch of stuff back to us. And we now had inventory as if we're a consumer thing, but we're selling just into the MI channel. And I really think that product could have opened up guitar playing to, and it wouldn't have been this super seller through Apple, but you didn't need to be a super seller because there's 1 million people looking for Christmas presents. You could have had MI pedal, you know, Christmas presents for a lot of people and a lot of brand new guitar players through that. But because of that change, and we couldn't react quick enough to get the new cable, and you had to redo all the apps, and it was just too much, that we got it all back. And then now from the corporate side, it looks like it was a failure, because look at all the inventory we have. And it is hard to get rid of consumer type inventory in an MI channel. So it looked like, oh man, what a failure that was. It's like, the thing about the industry, you try things, you push boundaries, and I think that was a fun boundary to push. I think it's still a fun boundary to push, because there's new guitar players every day. In fact, there is probably as many new guitar potential players that just don't get introduced because they don't go to Guitar Center, but they go buy a new iPhone all the time. So there is these other methods to plant seeds to new players.
Yeah, that's a really interesting way of looking at it, actually.
And I'll tell you the other thing that it solves is, and here I am promoting something that we don't make anymore. So this is just strictly historical. It doesn't mean we won't make it. Doesn't mean there's not an option for it, but it's an interesting story. And that's that if you're a small mom and pop guitar store, how many pedals are there in the world? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. How many can you stock in your store? It's hard because it's a lot. And you think you're picking the right ones. Everybody comes in and wants a flanger, and all you have is phasers. And then you stock up on your phaser. Everybody wants a phaser instead of flanger. Or the mix of the product to the store is always a fight, because they don't want stacks of products that aren't selling, but they want to have enough wide variety. And really, really cool products go out of production because there's just not enough total. When you launch a product, it's got that hype and everybody's buying it. And then somebody else is hyping their thing and you don't have that, and you're trying to live in this ecosystem. And all the stores just can't stock everything. So the ring modulators of the world end up out of production, not because they were not cool products. It's because manufacturing it can't get too small. You've got to be, and also the stores, they can't get too small. iStomp fixed all that, because then no matter, as long as a store had an iStomp, somebody needs a flanger, it's in there. Somebody needs a delay, it's in there. Even if it's not their favorite one, you've got a solution. So a single pedal that everybody could stock, that you could change. It also allowed you to try new things. So you could have your iStomp at home, and all of a sudden your friend's talking about a Leslie speaker simulator. Oh, that would be good. You pull up, I wonder if iStomp's got one. Sure enough, 99 cents or $1.99. I can try it. In fact, we even had it where you could try it for 5 minutes before you even buy it. So it could download it, you'd try it, and if you didn't like it, we didn't charge you. And $2 isn't that much anyway. So
no, it's not. Is that something you could see pushing to reintroduce again in a big way, or is that time gone?
I can't commit to anything that we may or may not do in the future, but you can tell I have a love for it.
Absolutely.
And I think the need for something like that is still there. The other thing about the iStomp is LCDs were expensive back then, and so we had to do it with just stickers, and it wasn't the full thing that it could have been.
Yeah.
So, and I, I'm only saying it because you're asking me about what's some of my favorite. That is one of my favorites. One of my other favorites, which is kind of a cult following thing, is the space station.
Yeah.
Love the space station. That was kind of, for me as an engineer, was the first one I got to spec and do anything you want in that pedal. And so I'm a Sonic Youth fan from back then, and the kind of noise and churning and all that. I loved it, and so I could coat. That was one John Johnson says, you give me the XP 100 and 200, and you can do anything you want with the others. So that was my chance to do that. And that's kind of a legendary pedal because there's things that are in there that aren't anywhere else. And that's not just us, because as much as our competitors are competitors, they're also fellow musicians trying to come up with ideas, So I got a lot of friends that actually used to be part of my team that are now working for Yamaha or Line 6 or Gibson or Fender or, all throughout the industry, because people that do this for a living love to do this, and they stick around.
Yeah, you get industry people whose heart and soul is in there, and you stick in there, and it's not the biggest world, and you kind of go around.
You move around.
A circular motion.
I ended up staying at the same place, but it's like I could have just as easily kind of moved around and different things like that, because it's something you love to do, and you get good at it. You get good at coming up with new ideas and all of that, and we're going to be showing a couple of things here in a minute from those new ideas, our latest ideas. So we're getting DigiTech back again. So our things coming back again are the MonoNeon Whammy. I don't know if you got a shot of the pedal board down here, but MonoNeon Whammy, we just premiered the Batter Monkey just a couple of days ago at the Gear Street here. And so the new team constantly cranking out new stuff. And one of the other pedals, I don't know where I put it, but it's a Hammer On. Hammer On is a brand new pedal for us. Oh yeah,
it's there the whole time.
This is my subliminal messaging back here of the Hammer On. Anyway, those are all brand new things from the team. And something like a Hammer On, nobody's done that before. It's an instantaneous pitch shifter. It's in the Whammy family, so you get low latency pitch shifting, but it's instantaneous. So every guitar player knows what a Hammer On is. It's like, but how far can you hammer on? Maybe 3 frets, 4 frets, long fingers, 5 frets. This lets you hammer on up an octave up. I can do a pull-off that's an octave down. You can do a lot more. And guitar players can do that if you get your other hand involved. You can do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But this opens up your feet to do the same sort of thing. And what I'm saying with all that is innovation is alive and well in DigiTech and DOD, and you'll see a lot more from us.
Well, that is really exciting news.
It's fun stuff.
I'd love to hear the Hammer On as well. I mean, I heard you and Tommy, the bassist, doing it before.
Yeah,
I'll link to that if you want to hear it on bass.
Yeah, and if anybody watches both, I'm sitting in the same seat even. So so it looks like the same, but we're doing lots of new content here. This Gear Street is real exciting, and let's show off the Whammy for a second.
Yeah, let's talk about these. So tell me about this
latest generation of Whammy. So Whammy 5 was our most recent Whammy until this, and it's still state of the art. This is a 12, 13, 14-year-old product. It's still the lowest latency, cleanest pitch shifting, tightest polyphonic capability out there. So it's selling great.
Yeah.
But we're a new brand again. So I want to do something. So we one of our marketing guys had got in a hold of MonoNeon. I actually didn't know him at the time. And said, we should do one of those. And originally it was just going to be kind of the paint job. MonoNeon has a cool look. It's the neon colors. It's the oranges and yellows and all that. And that would be cool on its own, just as that aesthetic version, kind of a different take on a Whammy. But again, we didn't want to just stop there. We wanted to do more.
Yeah.
So I started coding up, me and the team started coding up some new sounds in there. And one of the things, I'm a big Tom Morello fan, and he's done a lot for Whammy. The kind of 2 octave up. He's the guy that pushed the 2 octave up to make that stand out and be the kind of audio slave as well as all of his endeavors. He had done a few different bands, but I came in on a Saturday and turned on the first Audio Slave album and listened all the way through as I coded up 3 octaves up. I thought, if you want to be extreme and you want to have it stand out, 2 octaves gets you this far, 3 octaves gets you, that's the top of gets you this far. You're out of the picture. So that was one thing, is hypersonic. What it allowed MonoNeon to do is, so you get a bass player and you go up 3 octaves, that means a bass can cover the Tom Morello solos. And that's never been done. So I was like, that's new territory to play in. So I coded up the hypersonic. That was some new things. And then the other thing is, and maybe show the pedal board for a second. There's a Whammy side, which is just doing the pitch shifting, and a harmony side. And the harmony side means you're going to have the dry guitar plus the pitch shifted stuff, right? And when we went to polyphonic, so a lot of the things on the harmony side are kind of pedal steel bends, fourth to a fifth or something. So dry, fourth, fifth, you can do simple bends. None of those work with chords. So even though we put in polyphonic mode, we had a bunch of stuff on the harmony side that really isn't set up for chords. I know there's certain chords that you can make those work, but it's less apparent of exactly what to do. So I wanted to fatten up some things that work really, really well with chords. So we on the original Whammy, we always had an octave down to octave up pitch bend. So it's dry plus an octave down and bend it to an octave up. And so each end is like an octaver type sound.
So we're not hearing a down and up octave simultaneously, but it's all to do with
up here you're dry plus octave up.
Okay.
Actually, dry plus octave down here, and you push it and it bends it. Not your dry sound, but it bends the secondary note to an octave up. So
let's
try
that. Let's just hear that. Yeah. So how do we navigate through to it?
Yeah. Let me get to octave down.
Take me through it as someone who knows absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Which I am.
Well, that's an honest review then. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So let me just go with one note, and we'll go through the sweep.
Now, obviously, you can hear that. That's an octaver, right?
Yeah. So
that works with a single note like you're playing there, but it also works with chords. Go do a chord somewhere, right? So when you're adding an octave below, that is an octaver effect. It works with all chords, all single notes. And then my down position, so that's the octave down.
Yep. Yep.
So that works with chords, works with all this. So that from the original Whammy, it's like that was one of the best settings. On the harmony side, that works with all chords, it's very flexible. So I wanted to expand on that. So I added this setting right here, which is octave up. Yeah, you're way up high on the neck there, that gives you octave up to 2 octaves up. So that gives you that kind of really bendy. Try some low tones and kind of bend them a little bit, and you'll kind of see. So you can play the same riff, and you get 2 different voicings.
Yeah.
Right, and so then I did this one. And this has got a little bit of a story to it, and this is octave down to 2 octaves down.
Okay.
So it's got that beef to it.
So we're in bass territory already.
Yeah. So do a riff, and then we'll shift it. So
let's do what Tommy was just doing.
So that works. I think it works really well. Coded up that one. I loved it. Took it to MonoNeon. Now, it's not that MonoNeon asked for any of this.
Yeah.
He said, do something interesting, and so I took that one to him. All this stuff, and I had it in a prototype, and I flew up to Portland, Oregon to show to him. And I'm showing him hypersonic. Oh, yeah, that's kind of cool. And I'm showing him the other stuff. We got to this, the octave down to 2 octaves down, and you can tell when you resonate with a musician because they'll stop talking.
Yeah.
And he's playing, he goes, oh. And then for close to 10 minutes, he was just riffing and like, oh yeah, he's da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, da-da-da, trying different. And after about 10 minutes of playing, and it was almost uncomfortable because he just didn't look at me. It's like he's in himself. And then he looks up at the end of that and goes, I got to play this tonight. Because they had just finished sound check. And he was like, oh, I found some new things I want to explore. And to me, from the designer side, that's a home run hit. You cannot have much more validation of what you're doing than have somebody finding new. That one of the things that I've always said is, we're making colors of paint. We're not painting it's like the artists, they make the paintings. We're given new idea kernels, but they take it where they want to take it. And MonoNeon instantly, even though he wasn't asking for that, it was like, oh yeah, there's something musical here. So that's it. That's the MonoNeon, and it's right in the Whammy family. It's Whammy's been red, except the Whammy 2, been red for many, many years. This is a beautiful, bright color, and some new tones, And it's this is the new DigiTech. This is kind of outside of the box thinking, innovate as we go, and have fun with it.
Yeah, and it's definitely something, like you say, that is going to be ideal for bassists and guitar players as well. If someone's already using a Whammy 5, would you recommend that they make the upgrade to this one?
I'd recommend they go try it.
Yeah.
Go find a store whatever town you're in. Hearing somebody, hearing video helps you want to go try it, but go try it. And I think if you're a Whammy 5 user and all of a sudden, if the style of music you're playing, hypersonic might be exactly what you need.
Yeah.
Or this Octaverse stuff we were just talking, it might resonate with you and you go, oh yeah, I got to step up to this one. So, I don't think it's a replacement. That's why it is not a Whammy 6. But it's more than just a paint job. It's got some new tones in here. I didn't go into the detuner, but the detuner from the original, there was a deep detune and a shallow detune. Well, let's come down and you'll see. And to me, and it is all taste, but I always kind of thought that the deep was a little too deep and the shallow was a little too shallow. We had the two kinds.
Okay,
So here's the detune.
Yep.
Let's go without so you can kind of see where you're at.
Yep.
And then we kick in. Yeah, fattens it up.
So it's fattening it up, and it's a chorusy sort of effect because of that.
Yeah. It's a chorusy thing, but a chorus has a swimminess to it.
Yeah.
Chorus is sharp, flat, sharp, flat.
Yeah.
This, you're always just adding this layered. It's much more like a natural sound you'd get from a 12-string by having two different things that aren't exactly in tune. They're more naturally detuned.
Yeah, exactly. And the detune effect, I'm assuming, is not just on or off. I'm assuming there's levels to it, right? Again, using the treadle?
Yeah. So you can back off from clean. Yep, so you can back it off to find the right taste.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. So that's another thing in there. That's another pedal that you don't need to buy if you own the Whammy, is a chorus pedal, because it's got you covered for that a bit more.
That's right. And I always like detuners better than choruses. I like a good chorus, but a detuner is, to me, is much more pure pitch shifting, which is kind of what a detuner, you're trying to be a detuned version of that same thing. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. Now, I would say the Whammy overall is possibly, at least in the circles in which I move, the most iconic.
It is for the brand.
At this point,
it's worldwide. If I would say that Whammy is probably just about as big as DigiTech. If you're talking to any musician, you go, "Oh, the DigiTech Whammy. Oh, the Whammy." They know it. It's because it's been around for so long and it's such an iconic thing. And for when you were asking about favorite things, it's hard to not have the Whammy be one of those favorite things.
I was going to say, I don't think it couldn't be.
I'll tell you the reason why it wasn't on my list is I didn't code up the original one. You were asking about my personal ones, and I didn't code that. That was actually Brian Gibson of IEVL did the first generation Whammy, and you can't ask for more, iconic than that.
No, exactly. And it's a pedal that's been iconic through generations of musicians as well. So for me, for example, Tom Morello is someone I would name check, Matt Bellamy from Muse, but also someone like Jack White, who is so contemporary and making such great use of that pedal. Yeah, totally awesome.
Yeah, and it goes on, and I think this product is worthy of the Whammy name. I don't think it's enough to be a Whammy 6. That's why it's a Whammy 5. It's the bulk of it is a Whammy 5. But keep tuned. We're going to keep doing new stuff. This new team, we're excited. We're doing new stuff all the time. And on that, we should transition to the other.
Yes.
So show the pedal board there. This Batter Monkey has been, the Bad Monkey has been a bit of a stir on the internet because of Josh Scott's original video, and then everybody's answer to the video, and I'm sure you are in the middle of that.
Yeah, the Bad Monkey is the pedal that can replace any of your other boutique overdrive pedals.
Yep. And to me, what I think he was talking about isn't so much that, this one can cover all of this. He was kind of saying, get yourself a distortion with a lot of flexibility, so it's got a good range of gain and some decent tone control to kind of tweak it out for what you want, and spend your time playing.
That's exactly what I was saying. Yeah.
You know, and so that was and so he was really showing flexibility. And ever since that video, and we didn't even know about it till it hit, and it was fun watching that ride. Ever since then, we've had people go, okay, when are you going to reissue the Bad Monkey? Oh, you got to reissue the Bad Monkey. Have you seen the prices of the Bad Monkey? All that kind of stuff. And the team, and we talked about it, yeah, we could reissue it, but it's like, it's our chance to do something more.
Yep.
You know, we wanted to take it, we wanted to cover the territory of the original Bad Monkey, but we wanted to go somewhere with it. So we've got two big innovations in this product. Not only is the Bad Monkey back, this takes it a lot farther. So, and it does it by way of this barrel control. So this barrel control right here is a 360-degree pot that lets you mix the original Bad Monkey circuit. You put this up, point it towards the Bad Monkey, and this is an exact Bad Monkey. It's the same circuitry, same range of gain and level, and the two-tone controls as the original Bad Monkey. So you're covering that territory exactly.
Yep.
Then in addition to that, it's got an entire other circuit we call the Behaved Monkey. And so if you listen to it, and we will in a second, it's right in that tonal range of Bad Monkey, and of course the same tone control of it, but it's a separate. It is a completely separate circuit. It's not just a lower gain. It is actually a completely separate circuit, and that's the Behaved Monkey. So it's cleaner, it's nicer. It has it doesn't hit the amp quite as hard, but it's still a distortion. And then, in addition to that, we have the Batter Monkey circuit. So you come all the way up to this position right here, and you are on the Batter Monkey circuit, and that is meaner than the Bad Monkey. You can kind of almost feel the fangs. It's got more to it, right? And so we took the Bad Monkey and we made it mad.
Okay. So there are three levels of monkey in this pedal effect.
So there is three completely separate tone controls are common, but the three circuits in there are three completely separate distortions. And what you do with the barrel control is you mix them. So of that three, if I'm going between the Behaved Monkey here and the Bad Monkey here, I can go from a single Behaved Monkey to a mix of Behaved and Bad, and then to the straight Bad Monkey. And then if I go farther, I can go from the Bad Monkey over towards the Batter Monkey, and you get a mix until you go all the way over here. It gives you incredible flexibility. So Josh Scott was showing that a Bad Monkey is flexible. Oh, you want flexible? You know, this gives you tonal from extremely mild overdrive all the way to the Batter Monkey with lots of grit to it and everything in between.
Well, I'm aware that we're running out of time, so let's hear this Batter Monkey in action. Let's go through it. Show me what it can do.
And I'm going to show you one more thing so I can tonally show you this.
Yep.
Is when you're mixing those two, you can mix it in phase, which is with the middle switch all the way up. Okay, or you can go out of phase with the pedal all the way down. So we're going to go in phase and mix. I'm going to start you on the Behaved Monkey and just play, just riff, single chords, whatever you want, and I'll start moving all the way up to, and everybody at home can kind of see it as as we're morphing between the Behaved Monkey, the Batter Monkey, or Bad Monkey, and finally the Batter Monkey.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's just have a bit of a clean tone, which sounds like this.
And then let's hit it. Now we're right at the original Bad Monkey. So I'm straight 12 o'clock position.
Yep.
This is the exact Bad Monkey, and I don't have any booster cut on the higher low EQ, and we're running, you know, maybe 11 o'clock position or so on the other two.
Yeah, okay, and that sounds a bit like this.
Now we're gonna go bad.
It gets badder than this?
Oh yeah. Starts coming up. Now you're all the way to the batter monkey circuit. So let's put that straight at 12. See, that's got some lower end kind of hitting you.
That sounds huge.
It is huge, but all of those are Bad Monkey type tones.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of live well together, so they mix well together. Now we're going to do something weird. We're going to flip the phase of the Bad Monkey, and you'll notice, and I'm going to put it right back down to the behaved monkey, and as I turn this, and you'll hear it, that the two are fighting, right? So I have a flipped phase version of a distortion and an in-phase version of a distortion kind of fighting with each other. So what you'll get is similar to what we did before, but it's got these little notchy sort of things that'll come and go. And you'll see it kind of like goes out and then back in, and as the two are fighting, you can find some really, really almost in the realm of like a fuzz distortion. If you start in the middle and it's like these two fighting, you'll see. So go ahead and play it. Kind of feel the notches coming in.
You can feel the notches, yeah.
There
is so much in this pedal, and I wish we had a double-hour slot to go through everything, to be honest.
But that's a taste. These are going to be out in October. Everybody go down, try it. We'll do, and when I get, this is the two prototypes. So this one, and I've got one more here that I brought to Gear Street. As soon as I get some more quantity, I'll get one out to you. You can do your own longer version of a video.
It'll be one of my typical way overly long videos where we go through everything.
Good.
I'll have to speak to you again at some point. We'll tell all your stories.
Okay.
I sense there's so much that we could pull out of you, so many interesting stories.
You know, and I'll be back next year, I hope, if Henning doesn't axe me off the list.
I'm pretty sure you're assured of a place next year.
And we'll have a bunch of new stuff by then. So
wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Jim, for taking the time. Let me give you a
thank you very much.
Camera. It's been an absolute pleasure. Make sure that you check out everything from DigiTech if you haven't already. Thank you to Henning and everybody else involved in 42 Gear Street for putting on this event, making it run so swimmingly and so well. The hashtag is 42GS7 if you'd like to check out any of the other videos featuring Jim or anybody else from the event. But that's been it for today's video. I've been Rich, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.
Thank you.